Hey everyone, it's Jack here, TalkNorwichCity. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. It's been a little while since we spoke, as of course it's been an international break, but Norwich City return to domestic action this weekend. The opponents, Blackpool, a trip up north for the Canaries. Blackpool's always a really fun away day. I remember going, I think Lewis Graben scored and Murphy scored a brilliant goal. We won 3-1. I remember being there. So to all of those Norwich fans travelling up to Blackpool this weekend, have the best time. I hope you really enjoy it. I hope we win. A big thank you to our sponsors, BetMate, who continue to sponsor our preview content this season. We're running a 3 p.m. kickoff pot on the Saturday to incorporate all of the Championship 3 p.m. fixtures. You can see mine and Chris's teams on screen now. It's essentially fantasy football. You get points based on goals, assists, clean sheets, etc. And you go up against other TNC fans. There's a guaranteed payout of £100. Entry is just £2. I know you guys are really enjoying it this season, which has been brilliant. And I know a lot of you have won some cash this season as well. If you haven't already signed up to BetMate, the link's in the description. Enter the code that I've put in the description to get a £5 free bet. Brilliant. I hope you all really enjoy that. Once again, not the ideal press conference delivered by Dean Smith this week. Norwich City continue to be plagued by injuries. The good bits of news, we'll get those in first to lift morale somewhat. Grant Hanley and Big Andy, they were both withdrawn from international duty. They should be fit for this weekend, which is huge news. I think if both of them were going to be out, then we'd really be struggling. But good news that Hanley and Big Andy should be returning. That would have been a real concern if both of them had gone. So good that we pulled them out of international duty. It also looks like Liam Gibbs will be in the squad for this weekend. He'll be returning after training this week. Whether he starts, I think, is probably another question. I can't imagine he will. But good that he's back in the squad and now just getting him back up to match fitness, because he'd been superb the few games that he played in recent times. The really disappointing news, and I think the news that's been talked about most this week for Norwich fans, is that of Isaac Hayden. Now, there was hope that he might be returning this week, maybe next week. That has once again been pushed back. He's returned to Newcastle for treatment. There was a planned, not pre-season game because we're not in pre-season, there was a planned friendly game that he was going to take part in. That didn't, or he didn't feature in that game. So his return has been delayed. I saw some people, including Rob Butler, who I love dearly, suggesting that we should maybe just cut our losses here and send him back to Newcastle. I don't think I quite agree with that. I think it's frustrating that we've signed a player who had historical injury records, has once again not featured. That's a real disappointment, and Isaac Hayden, we're crying out for an Isaac Hayden type player. We'll see what happens. From those I've spoken to that seem to have decent insight on this, they're expecting his return not to be for a good few weeks, which is hugely disappointing because we are light in midfield. With all of that being said, and I'm just going to read out the other players that we're still without: Dimi Anulis, Adam Eder, Jonathan Rowe, Jakob Sorensen, Sam McCallum. Of course, the wing-back areas we're still really struggling with. So almost a good thing with the international break that Sam Byram's had the ability to get back up to speed and rest himself, because he's had a busy month or so. In terms of Blackpool, didn't start the season too badly, have struggled since then. They've won just 1 in 6. They're down to 19th position in the table. They've got 11 points from 10 games. They've won just 3 this season. They've had some fairly howling results in there recently as well. A 3-0 defeat to Rotherham. They lost last time out against Millwall. They've been beaten by Blackburn Rovers in recent weeks as well. Look, I don't think the optimism at Blackpool is maybe quite as high as it was last season. The managerial changes, their, I think, sole ambition, I don't think this is derogatory in any fashion to suggest that their intention is to survive this season. At the moment, they're doing okay, averaging just over a point a game. But Norwich City, this is the kind of opponent we should be beating. I know that the Championship always is competitive and throw up curveballs. I think if we were to lose or draw against Blackpool, particularly after the performance against West Brom that that gained criticism would be hugely disappointing. It's going to be fascinating to see as well what the reaction to Dean Smith over the next couple of months is as well, because Norwich City's fixtures start to get more difficult over the next month. October looks incredibly busy. We're basically 2 games a week for the entirety of the month due to postponements and just general fixture congestion. So hopefully this will be a good starting point to get the ball rolling. In terms of the side, I mean, let's have a look at who played for Norwich against West Brom last time out. You had a front three of Sargent, Ramsey and Pukki, didn't you? I think Ramsey's been actually one of the positives this season, certainly been one of the most unexpected performers. I thought he'd be probably sitting on the bench, but Dean Smith seems to have got the best out of him. We spoke about it in the last video. Can you play Josh Sargent and Timu Pukki in the same side? I think you can, just about. I think the shame of it is you're sacrificing one of their performances because neither of them are naturally wide players, and Josh Sargent has been pushed out there. Still, for me, the concern is the midfield. There was a midfield 3 last time, Nunez, McLean and Sarah. We just don't have a ball-winning midfielder in there. I think all of those would prefer to be slightly more advanced. Kenny McLean looked like a really solid championship player last time in the championship when he had Oliver Skip behind him. We don't have that now. And I don't think any of their natural games are to drop slightly deeper, which is a slight concern, but it should still be enough quality to get past Blackpool, who will, of course, be competitive. They have some quality in their side, but we should be beating. I'm confident. I've liked the look of Norwich for the majority of this season. I think they've found ways to get through difficult games. This is the potential for a banana skin. Every away game is in this division. You should expect Norwich City to dominate possession. Blackpool will try and make it tough. But I think that we will get through this, and I think that Dean Smith will continue to win games for Norwich City. The positive here is I'm looking at that injury list. By the time that the World Cup has been and gone, you would hope we'd have, barring other injuries of course, a fairly full team. And that excites me because we're winning games without them. Let me know what you think going into this Blackpool game. If you're going, also let me know. Remember, the BetMate League is available to join down in the description below. Would love to see you over there. Let me know your score predictions, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the match review. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.